I'm James Heaney, and this is Brief News Brief. First up today, we're talking about a couple choices Donald Trump has made for his cabinet. We've been on the edge of our seat waiting to see what's he gonna do when he finally does something. Well, here it is. We've got a couple of insights. First off, he's announced his chief of staff being Reince Priebus, who isn't an eco-friendly car. It ends up he's a human being. You might not know who he is, but let me fill you in. When we all voted Donald Trump in, and when I say that, I didn't personally vote him in, but I mean just the collective, the collective we. We voted him in because he was a Washington outsider, and we expected him to really shake up the system. So his chief of staff that he chose might surprise you to find out that he was the chairman of the RNC, the Republican National Committee. So this is the leadership of the Republican Party that he's brought in as his chief of staff. It's pretty unexpected considering he was supposed to be a Washington outsider. So what is he known for? Well, tons of stuff, I'm sure, but the thing I know that he's known for is his vehement support of the Keystone Pipeline. I didn't write these headlines. They are just scrolling past me by interns. I don't know how to say vehemently. Anyhow, he's made another choice as well for another staff member, his chief strategist, Bruce Banner. Not Bruce Banner? The scientist? It's not. Oh, Steve Bannon. He's chosen Steve Bannon. Why would he do that? Steve Bannon is the guy from Breitbart. You might remember in 2009 that his company pretty much shut down Acorn with some videos that were made. He paid a couple people. There was somebody named Hannah Giles, and she had this idea while she was running through a neighborhood and I guess jogged past a bad neighborhood and saw acorn people. This is just her story, okay? And she went and she was like, what if I was a prostitute, and went in there? And she brought that to her friend James O'Keefe, and James O'Keefe was like, what if you're a prostitute and I wear a pimp jacket? And he got this thing that looked like it was straight out of the 70s, some blaxploitation is what I think they called it. One of those films where it was just, ridiculous character-like costumes. And they went in and made videos and edited them so cleverly that it ended up that we shut down Acorn as a collective country that was like, we're not going to stand for this. Well, it ends up he got in trouble and had to pay fines. It was her idea. She got paid $32,000 for it. He, just as a guy, got paid more. He was paid $65,000. But when they were sued, she was sued for $100,000, whereas he was sued for half of that. It's so crazy. Nonetheless, when we think of Steve Bannon, it's the guy that's in charge of Breitbart who makes these crazy videos, or at least, let's call it, produces them by paying for them. Because that's what producers do, right? That's what my producers do. Trump's a guy with big ideas, the greatest ideas, and we're just starting to get that trickle-down effect right now where we're all smartening up. We heard about the wall he plans on building on the southern border. It ends up, we were all saying, there's no way that that's possible. It's too expensive, too much work. And he's like, I got it all planned out. We're finding out that plan includes it being partially just fence. And I just was thinking to myself, Josh, gosh, that's a great idea. That's going to save on materials and probably just a lot of manpower. You can just roll a fence out. And then I thought to myself, geez, what if you just used an invisible fence like you do for dogs, right? Now, stay with me, because I know this is going to sound crazy, but trust me, it's just as good an idea. I've been getting splashed with this trickle-down intelligence for a while. All we got to do is make all of them wear dog collars so that they don't go over the fence. Then we don't tell them that only parts of it actually have the invisible fence. We just make them think that it does. It's time to talk about the here, the now, and the future. Yesterday, in the Here, the Now, and the Future segment, we talked about making the world a better place through positivity, like going to super dumb YouTube videos and putting in the nicest, most supportive comments. Well, some of our viewers took that to an extreme. We have a group of New Jersey biker gang out in New Jersey, and they had just finished watching our show, and they were roaring down the freeway on their motorcycles, and they saw a motorcycle broken down on the side of the freeway. And they were like, you know what? James Heaney said change starts from within. And they pulled on over and helped this biker. Well, guess what? good karma comes around and it goes around. Because that biker was none other than Bruce Springsteen. They tried to fix that bike, but they couldn't do it, so they just ended up going out for beers and hanging out. Just goes to show you, you never know who you're helping. In fact, if you want to make the world a better place, you treat everybody you come across like they might be Bruce Springsteen. Because they might be. It is time to tally polls. Protesting, it's a privilege. Ranch, hot sauce, they're dead tied, but we don't choose chocolate. Now here's the newest polls released. We find out that who doesn't like French fries? Mr. Potato Head. He thinks it's cannibalism. Is global warming real? Yes, it's real. Polls have determined it to be real. What's the sound that a dog says? Is it woof, ruff, or bark? Turns out dogs don't say anything. The voice is heard. We hear the people and they have spoken. Here is some new polls. First off, would you rather have X-ray vision or invisibility? Both are useful. Now, also, if you were going to focus on only one thing, would it be space exploration or planet preservation? Again, I do think both have some very important roles to play. And finally, gloves or mittens?